Hi everyone, this is my January wrap-up video. Every book I read in January. From my TBR, what I didn't have in my TBR, I'll tell you when I go along. It's probably going to be a bit of a video, guys, hold tight. In total in Jan, I read 15 books, which actually ended up being 4,759 pages. Super crazy, honestly, unexpected. I just seem to have got into a really good vibe during January, and yeah, I just knocked loads out. So the first book I'm going to start here is a book that I've had in the TBR for a little while because I've read the rest of the series, and I've been waiting for the girls that I read it with to catch up. Two of us did. We're still waiting for the other lady to catch up with us, but that's fine. That's not an issue. She can catch up when she wants to. But this is actually the only 5-star read I have in the whole of January, which I feel so proud of myself. And that is Hopeless by Elsie Silver. I actually gave this one a 3 spice as well to join its 5-star. I'm super happy. I'm going to give kind of like quick ratings, I guess, because obviously I don't want to give a full review on these things. I do have a TikTok where you do get a review. That's non-spoiler anyway. So, but yes, I gave this a 5-star, a 3 spice. I did enjoy it. It was a perfect end to the series. I wasn't expecting to love it as much as I did. Okay, so I've heard so much about this book that I was like, oh, I'm really nervous about reading. I don't feel that way anymore. I'm super excited to get around to it, like when I got to it, and I flew through it. It was unexpected, it was cute, you know, it had the fake relationship that ended up being real. It was just adorable. I loved it. I loved every second of it, 5-star. And I have enjoyed Elsie Silver's books, so well worth the 5-star. And then I went into The Housemaid, which I did do for you guys as a reading vlog, so you obviously already know, but just as a quick reminder, it is a 4.5 star for me. I did really enjoy this. I'm not a thriller person. I'm trying to get slowly into thriller, and I feel like this was definitely one of the best starts I made into the thriller series, like into the thriller genre. I didn't want to put it down. I ate it up, and it's my favorite color, so that's even better. And then after that, I had read Housemaid's Secret, which I gave a 4.5 star to as well. It was super cute, like to see how it carried on. Not a cute story, because I mean, people die. But I did enjoy the story. It was just great how it carried on. I liked that, and you could tell there was an obvious time jump between book 1 and 2. But it was kind of cute how she was like, I have a boyfriend. Like that's the part you're proud of? Okay. I really did enjoy this one. Great laugh. It was fun to read. I definitely feel like there was more twist in this one than the first one. Unexpected, although so far there's always twists in a Frida book. So this was a 4.5. I then read The Housemaid's Wedding, which, by the way, I didn't give a rating for because it is a novella. It's like 60 odd pages, but I still did enjoy it. It was cute, and who doesn't like a cute book? Okay, they got married. Who doesn't like to see a wedding? So yeah. And then I went into The Housemaid is Watching. I gave this a 4.75 star. I really loved this one. I mean, I couldn't stop eating this one up. Didn't want to finish reading it. I loved it so much. It was definitely very different to me than the other two. Yeah, it felt very different in vibes. And I mean, there was a very big time gap between book 2 and 3. The novella sit in there so perfectly, but this was so great to see 11 years later where she was living in her own home. Kind of like, it was like she went back to where she started, and that was a great vibe, and I really enjoyed it. Couldn't get enough of it. And then I read Bride by Ali Hazelwood. Now, Ali Hazelwood is normally a romance author. I do have her YA, which is Check and Mate, and a few other of her romances I still need to read. But this is her first like Omegaverse fantasy type book, and I gave this a 4.75 star, and I gave it a 3.5 spice. Was it 3.5 spice? 3.5 to 3 spice, something like that. I enjoyed this book. Okay, I'm a big fantasy lover, always have been. And I enjoyed it. The romance, okay, we'll call it romancy because I feel like it was very based on romance. There was a forced marriage which turned out, you know, if you know the Omegaverse, the vampire ended up being the werewolf's mate, and he knew and she didn't, but she started having feelings anyway, kind of like the mate type feelings, but that wasn't the same in vampire as it is for a wolf. It was great to see how their relationship developed. Like, overall, I loved that. So yeah, like I said, 4.75. And then I read The Night Hunt, which is by Alexander, we're saying Christo? I think we're saying Christo. If I said it wrong, I'm so sorry. Pronunciation isn't always my best, and English is my first language. And I still can't pronounce half the stuff. This is a YA fantasy, like gods and monsters. I loved it. Not loved, but like I enjoyed reading it. Okay, it was super fun, and it was a really great little palette cleanser from like The Bride to the next book after that I read. I gave this a 3.5 star. Yeah, I feel like the story was definitely different from what I was expecting. There was romance in there, but it was like an underthought. Like the main story part was like the whole gods and monsters theme. The romance just kind of like slid in there. But with the romance, it was like a bit like enemies to lovers kind of thing. Like, yeah. And it was really great. I enjoyed that part of it. There are two more series, I think, by this author, two series by this author, which are both duologies. One I think is like To Kill a Kingdom, and then Into the Crooked Palace. They're two different series, I'm pretty sure. I do have those as well, so, and I did enjoy this author's writing, so that's even better. And then I read as a buddy read Next of Kin. I said Next to You nearly. Next of Kin. I haven't read Next to You. I gave this a 4.75 star and a 3 spice. I enjoyed this. This was I wouldn't call them enemies, not in the slightest. They became more like friends, and it kind of like developed. So with the idea of this one was that they both want custody of their sibling, and because she doesn't have a stable income, but she has a stable household, she's not quite got all the points to get her sibling. And he has a stable income, but not a stable household, so he doesn't have all the points. So they have like a team up system that child services have, and they put them together because obviously she has the house, he has the salary, the income, to work as a team until she can get herself like on a full kind of like stable income. They end up in a relationship anyway, and it's so cute to read the story. It took me a while to get into it. There was a lot at the beginning that felt very heart-wrenching for me. Hit home a little bit too close, perhaps. But after I got past that part, I was perfectly fine. It was a great read. I didn't have any issues with it. And it was just great. Okay? It was just great. I enjoyed it. Don't take my word for it. No, I'm joking. If you've read it, I'd love to know if you read any of these books, actually, in fact, and what you thought of them. Then I read The Winter Soldier Cold Front, which is basically, if you know the Marvelverse, this is Bucky. I gave this a 3.25 star. I love Bucky. He is one of my favourite. I wouldn't call him a villain, okay? The Winter Soldier perhaps is the villain, but Bucky himself is not a villain, and it's not his fault how he became. Like I said, if you know the Marvelverse, you would know this part. But I feel like this story could have had so much more for Bucky. But I did love the alternate timeline. We had like his present timeline, which I'm pretty sure is like 1954. And then we have his past timeline, which is 1941. In that one, he's like a teenager, and he's just, yeah. And then we go to like where he is the Winter Soldier, just before the actual movie kind of set, I'm pretty sure. Where he goes back into the cryo sleep at the end. But I did enjoy that. I enjoyed Bucky's story. I just wish there was so much more they could have done with that. I mean, I know it's got to be short, you know, kind of kiddie friendly. Well, they just might do YA, so like it's got to be that kind of friendly. But the point is, there is still so much they could have done for Bucky. I still feel like he was robbed of a decent story. But that's just me personally. Don't take my word for it, okay? Yeah, so I gave that a 3.25 star. Oh my gosh, my rant just went on a bit much there. Then I read The Chronicles of Maradum. Now this has short stories. This is volume 1 of this by Ross Hodges. This is a fantasy world which has kind of like a dystopian theme in it, I feel. We've got like wizards. I'm pretty sure there are witches in there as well still. Dwarfs, there's vampires in this verse, there's demons, we have werejackals, all sorts. I think there's zombies as well, but they don't call them zombies, they call them something else. But it's like the whole concept, okay? We have like literally kind of like so many different type of fantasies thrown into one world. This has 11 different stories, which has 11 different themes. And in each theme there's like a different kind of thing going on. We have birds that can grant wishes, like I said, the werejackals, the dwarfs. So there's like so much, and there's like other creatures in there as well. And then we have just that, what was one of them? Give me 1 second. There's like one where this guy had his kid kidnapped and stuff. So it's got a lot. It's got a lot in there. But it's like 11 very short stories based in this world. I have read the other books I actually own by the same author. And yeah, I gave this one a 3-star. I don't know. I feel like he's puts a lot of description in so much that the story kind of gets lost on like the main vibe, and then there's just too much description, and I'm focusing more on that part of the world that you're building as opposed to the actual story that I'm reading. But other than that, it has been a really interesting world to read. I haven't like regretted reading the world. Obviously, I do find it fun. And like I said, I've read 2 other standalones in the same series, and there's another series. Yeah, I've read 2 standalones in the same world, and then another series that is also set in the world, and I need to get the rest of that series. But I really enjoyed that. That was meant to be like, there's an elf in that one. There's wizards, a knight, pirates, and stuff like that. There's like so much in there. I just feel like there's so much packed in that I couldn't like, yeah. But yeah, so I did give this, as I said, it was a 3-star. I have still enjoyed the series. I enjoyed these short stories, although there was so much in them. But yeah. And then I read Fix Her Up by Tessa Bailey. I've only read one other book by Tessa Bailey before I read this, and that was Window Shopping, which is a Christmas one. And it was so short. I liked it, but it was short. This one I gave a 4.75 star and a 4 spice. Okay, so this is called, I'm pretty sure, the Hot and Hammered series, book 1. This follows Georgie Castle and Travis Ford. Georgie is the town clown. She's the youngest of her family. She doesn't follow in like their business. She's like an entertainer, clown, kids parties. He is a baseball player that was removed from the league because he had an accident, and then yeah, they end up in a fake relationship, and it ends up being real for both of them. She's always had love for him as a baseball player. She had like she had a crush on him back then, and then it's kind of like it evolved into like she could see the real him, and she still loved him for that too. They end up together. It's cute, adorable. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was fun. And then I read book 2 in that series, which is Love Her, Lose Her. This is set as one of their friend Rosie and her husband Dominic. They have some marital problems, and they go to therapy to rejuvenate their love. I feel like their love was already rejuvenated. Like, they had a lot of sexual tension between the 2 of them. That part wasn't an issue. It was the rest of it. But it all comes back together at the end. I gave this a 4.25 star and a 3.5 spice. The spice was nice in there, like it was decent. It was just, I felt it was better with all the tension of to it was better than the actual spice itself. Like, it was just great to read that, and I enjoyed that myself personally. So there we go. And that's book 2 of that series. This is only a trilogy series, I'm pretty sure. So I did also read Tools of Engagement, which is the last book in the series. Okay, this follows Georgie's older sister, Bethany, and Wes. Wes comes into it in book 2. He is a guardian to his niece. His sister runs off, her husband runs off because they're separated, and she calls him in and is like, I need someone to look after my daughter. He comes in and he takes on the role. Does pretty well, actually, if I'm being honest. Does really well. Sorry guys, I need to make sure I get the right things. And Beth, she works in the company, the family company. She is the stager. She makes sure everything's nice and presented for the houses that they flip. So there's a renovation business. They buy houses, they redo them up, they flip them for whatever. She comes in, puts all the furniture in, and you know, all those nice touches that you like to see in a nice finished house. And she decides she wants to branch out and do her own flip. She wants to have her own house. She wants to renovate it from scratch. She gets given the house by Travis in the first book while he's trying to win back Georgie. And at the end of this one, it is done, and it's amazing. They are like, because he comes in the second book, when she meets him, they're like at each other's throats kind of thing. It was adorable to see how they worked together. That was great. And even how she kind of developed a bond with his niece as well. That was really nice. So I gave this a 4.75 star, and I gave it a 3 spice. It was super fun to read. I thought it was a great ending for this series. I'm pretty sure this is the last book, okay? I have never seen any other ones to match this one. And I'm pretty sure when I looked on Amazon, there was no others. But I really enjoyed this. I've never really been a big romance lover, okay? Last year, I hit my first romance with Lucy Score's Knockmount series. Knockmount series. And I loved that. And then I kind of like started trying to get a bit of romance in with like my normal reads. It's just been so fun. I loved this series too. Like, it wasn't a 5 star, but I feel like 5 stars now going to be like high up. The ones that live in my brain rent free. Elsie Silver has always been in my brain rent free. So I do feel like most of her ones are going to be 5 stars for me. But overall, everything else that I really, really loved are going to be between the 4 to 5 star range. Yes, so I loved this. I read it, okay? I enjoyed it. If you want like a full review, I do have my TikTok link down below with everything else. So you can go check it out. I would love to know if you've actually read any of them so far and what you thought of them. I only have 2 more books to show you. This one is another buddy read that I read with a friend, which is That Kind of Guy by Stephanie Archer. This is the first Stephanie Archer book I've ever read. I do have her Vancouver series, I'm pretty sure it's called, which has Behind the Net and Fake Out. I have those upstairs. I need to get Wingman. But when I was out on my book haul in January, I saw the whole series in the works, and I just had to pick it up because it keeps calling to me every time I see it. So I did. I gave this a 4.5 star and a 3.5 spice. I did enjoy this book. I loved the small town vibe. I loved all of it. I love the fake dating. I love how the storyline, obviously, is that he wants to be mayor. Okay, his friend leaves town because they have power outages all the time, and it's not good for his daughter. His daughter's sick. He wants to be mayor so he can fix the grid, the power grid. She wants to buy a restaurant. She was declined a loan on her own, so she has to co-sign or borrow money. So he was making a joke with her in the restaurant or something, and he was like, oh, he said something to her, and she was like, the only way you're gonna get the be a mayor as if you have someone pretend to marry you and stuff and have a family, because the current mayor does have a family. And he agrees with her basically, and he asks her to be his girlfriend. And she agrees because he agrees to co-sign on her loan for the restaurant. So she agrees. Then later on, he was like, okay, so just being together is not enough. Like, we need to sell it. He then fake proposes. In the process of the fake proposal, he promises her new windows because the ones she's got aren't energy efficient or something. So she agrees. In the end, it takes a little while. She gets there. And then everyone keeps asking about when they're gonna be married. So then they fake marry, and he promises her new decking for her restaurant so she can open out and put more seating outside. Anyway, and they end up actually falling in love for real. Okay, she spends time with him. She enjoys the time she spends with him. Like, most of it, at first it was meant to be like, you know, they hold hands and things in public, and then they started doing things like just the two of them in private. So like, he took her to a nice private beach. They sat there, they ate. Like, tourists don't go there, and not really many locals go there, so there was no need for them to go and have like a beach picnic, but they did. Yeah. And now when I showed it to you guys in my haul, I was like, they all have the last name Rhodes. I don't know if that means they're like cousins or whatnot. They're all brothers, okay? Emmett is the eldest. He is the eldest of the Rhodes brothers. And obviously, you know, Avery is his love interest. But this was so fun to read. I don't regret it. At the current time of my recording, my friend that I'm reading this with hasn't finished it. So hopefully she doesn't see this video, because I really don't want to upset her that how much I really enjoyed it, and I don't want to give away too much away for her. And I tried to be simple, but I can't help myself. I really did love this book, okay? I don't want to put it down. So that was like my last buddy read of January. By the way, at this point, I have already finished my whole January TBR, and I added in one kind of buddy read at the bottom, a book club pick there, so that's 2, another buddy read 3, another buddy read 4, and then I finished that one, so I had to get another book in. I couldn't help myself. I read How Not to Be a Vampire. Okay, this is a very young YA, so I'm not rating this, but I just felt it was a really great palette cleanser for the end of January. Just something to relax and read. Yeah, I found it funny. I couldn't stop laughing. I'm actually going to gift this to my friend that I've been buddy reading with, like that kind of guy and stuff. I'm giving it to her because I know that her little one might enjoy this. It is a very young YA, but it's fantasy still. The concept of it is that this a young girl moves to a village with her family, and then there's like a woods surrounding them. There's like a lot of history to the town. Turns out inside the woods is a castle, which kind of is in their history, but the fact that, and they have vampires there. She is the newest descendant to the Slayer family, and she's the only one that can see the vampire kind of thing, even though she could see them watching her from the woods, and she can get through their enchantments and things. Yeah, it is very young YA, okay guys, don't judge me. I needed a palette cleanser, and this was definitely a cute little palette cleanser to end with. And it's so short, it was so adorable to read. I probably should have guessed it was YA when I opened it. Like, yeah, but it was so fun to read, and sometimes you just need that little bit of fun and giggles to get you through the day, and this definitely caused it for me. I'm not gonna lie to you, when I started it I wasn't so sure. It took me a few days to get through it, only because I have to do other stuff in the house, but I really did enjoy it. It was so fun to read. I couldn't put it down. Oh Lord. Yeah, it was fun, okay, and I like fun reads, and it made me feel like I was sitting in my childhood bedroom, just sitting on my bed, like giggling away. It made me feel like that, and that sometimes is what I need to kind of like, you know, cleanse myself a little bit before going into like the next month, so, or the next book. In this case, it was definitely cute to read. Yeah, I don't regret reading it, but I am gifting it to my friend for her little one because I just think it was super cute and I do hope that she'll like it too. If not, I'm sure they'll figure out something. They'll probably gift it to somebody else. But yeah, so that is literally my January like reads. I ended up reading 15. Can you believe that? I only had about 11 books in my, no, that doesn't make sense. I had 10 books in my original TBR. No, I had 11 books in my original TBR. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 11 books in my original TBR. I ended up adding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that doesn't make sense. I read 16 books. Something does make sense here. I haven't counted someone properly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I've read 15 books. So in January, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 books? Nope, something doesn't make sense though. I'm not making any sense. No idea. But I read 15 books. 10 of them were actually on my original TBR, and then I added 1 as a group read. 1, 2, 3 buddy reads, and then just an extra read at the end of January. Nothing too crazy. I'm super excited for my February hopefuls. I will be recording that straight after this video so you guys can see my February hopefuls. But yeah, other than that, if you have read any of these books, I'd love to know what your thoughts and opinions are. I would also love to know what you guys might like to see, like reading vlog wise, 24-hour readathons. By that I mean 24-hour reading. Not all at one time though, because my head. But I mean like how many books I read within over a 24-hour span kind of thing. I set a timer and stuff like that. That'd be fun. But I'd love to know what books you'd like to see, guys. Just let me know. Other than that, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. And maybe subscribe as well. Oh god. Yeah, I'd love to know your guys' opinion. Bye everyone.